Previously on Bitcoin Crypto Morning TA. Like yesterday, actually. Now, my heartbreakingly bullish outlook for today would be to continue up to our next headwindian level of resistance at 102.9. I do expect a tad of a retracemundo to cool off leverage and hunt them stop losses. And that could be first down at the 23.6% fib at 99.6, which is also at the crux of our triangle. Then if she's so darn tootin', maybe even the 38.2% fib way down 98.6. Lord love a duck if she didn't do just that. It looks like we topped out. Picking out 102.5, overshot it by 4 or 500, and we came down to 99.2. Holy smokes, it's Misco. I was gonna put out a Wells notice. Haven't seen you, hope you're doing, buddy. Gifted 5 pianomattyb memberships. Keeping the lights on at the studio. Thank you, Misco. What the hell am I doing here? Yeah, so here we go. pianomattyb, isn't that a cute little bull flag? Yeah, it sure is a cute little bull flag. Let's just draw it out here so all the viewers... Oh, what the hell's going on here? That's the dictionary. Why'd the dictionary pull out? There we go. Cute little bull flag. You take the pole, you slide it all to the breakout point, and then... Did I go off the sheet? Yeah, I did go off the sheet there. There we go. And then you get about a 100 and... Where's this dictionary keep coming by? You guys can't see it. Dictionary pops up. 107.3, which would put us right into the center of this old channel of ascension. What happened in the past is going to happen in the future. We're going to respect all those lines all the way up. 107. That will be a glorious little time for all the Bitcoin hodlers in there for sure. Imagine what everything else will be. It's like every $1,000 Bitcoin goes up, I feel like the alts just go whoosh, go crazy. There's a new one every day that I'm hearing about going nuts. If you go into the daily, it doesn't look so great. We're just why am I swearing here? We're just going up and down here on this line of resistance, picking out, throwing down some drunken 30-year-old birthday girl wicks, crying, dancing. No one cares about those wicks. Just in the midst of this channel of ascension too, which, no one wants to talk about it, but these channels of ascension, they do break bearish most of the time. These are just probabilities, though. Probabilities doesn't mean they're going to have to happen. And on the weekly, our stay green price is 101.156. So once we get over that, we will have another green candle. Now, we don't want to follow this old arbitrary doodle I put in here where we kind of are around in the corner, peeking out, not doing too much. You can see we do have some downside, not a lot of upside, but the bulls are picking up those wicks, right? So you can tell that there are a lot of institutional FOMO. Retail FOMO? No. Retail's only here when the price dumps. When the price doesn't move, retail's not here. But when the price dumps, that's retail's fault. They're a bunch of weak-hand, lettuce-handed hands. Isn't that right there, Druth? Sitting on gin and Druth.
Yeah, it's funny how they blame that on the regular people. But
no way.
Yeah, I mean, this week, Trump's been buying my bags, so I'm feeling pretty good, honestly. And I was looking at pretty much the same levels just on the day. I'm looking at that 90,000 to 90,600 spot for a exchange washout. The beginning of this week was absolutely crazy.
90,000?
I'm watching out for 99,000. Down to 99. And there is another liquidity grab at 99.6 that can happen. But on Monday, I think it was, Monday and Tuesday, just gigantic wicks to the downside that absolutely crushed a lot of leveraged longs, and it's what you talk about all the time. Exchanges don't want you riding to the center of the sun with a 50x long on $1,000 that prints,
as they go bankrupt, because there's a bunch of people with 50x.
Right. So I think that's exactly what we saw, and overall, like the upward trajectory of the moving averages I watch, holding strong. I am under the impression that we're going to be printing another green candle by the end of this weekly candle. But it's chop suey right now. Yesterday was awesome. We had a little bit of good momentum and then just reset. But honestly, I'm starting to trade Avalanche and Chainlink much more often than I'm trading Bitcoin currently. I am seeing a little bit like Bitcoin's continuing to go up, but those alts are going up with more velocity. And it's kind of what I'm always paying attention to, where the decoupling is, because at a point, Bitcoin would sneeze, alts would die, right? Now it's like Bitcoin sneezes and all of a sudden AVAX is pumping, Chainlink is pumping. Last night, Chainlink hit up to like $31. That's like my biggest holding. And for a long time, I was sitting here reeling, like, did I make a mistake swapping my Bitcoin into Chainlink? Now I'm sitting pretty as I knew I would be, but the plan is to get back into Bitcoin and then real estate and get out of the altcoin season once this bull market kind of finds its peak. But now Trump's buying $1 million worth of Chainlink a day. I
Why
don't
is
know
that?
how long is he. It's World Liberty Fi connected, I believe. He's buying
So
Aave.
that's Trump's company, World Liberty.
Yeah, well, it's the family, his family. I
His
don't know if it's
trust?
his company. Yeah, it's a decentralized exchange. It's a swapping kind of
Oh, okay.
exchange, DeFi spot. So really, I think that they're loading up on the ability to stake and earn money, passively for their swapping setup that way. Misco doing that as well. Shout out to you, bro. We're riding the lightning. We're going into the danger zone. It feels like that '80s movie, but
Top Gun.
yeah, right. Yeah, Top Gun. I really feel like we're setting up for something pretty incredible right now. We had Trump ringing the bell yesterday, talking about we're going to do something very special with Bitcoin. He's going to be watching the price of Bitcoin very closely. The world watches Trump very closely. So now, not only do we have the strategic reserves conversation and all those other things, but we have the literal next president of the largest financial hub on the planet that is going to be hyper focused on Bitcoin, rolling out a strategic reserve. We have all of the velocity measures that I wanted to see us at least repeat the upswing that we saw last bull market in terms of gains, on the Fibonacci sequence from high to low. And that brings us right to 240,000 bucks in Bitcoin by my measure, right? But with that, these altcoins, it is a game of hot potato. The one that ends up in the top 10 of this market, whatever altcoins they may be, they're going to be breaching $200 billion market caps. That's my opinion, just in terms of comparing the velocity of the top 10 last cycle peak to what we expect things to be in this coming peak. That's why I feel even, I have full exposure to altcoins, but I feel even underexposed even so. Even though I'm paying attention to it, I'm constantly trading. I just feel like this is a generational bull market, a generational wealth creating year for us that we're coming up on in 2025. And I'm having a hard time sleeping. I got to be honest with you, Piano B. Like, this feels like a miracle market what I'm looking at right now. But
It's
there's something
amazing.
very, very interesting. Yeah, like Bitcoin is obviously the groundwork for crypto and everything that we look for, the growth, the steady ground of which all these altcoins are built upon. And we see a product very, very interesting to me that I would highlight to you and your listeners to pay attention to. And this is the wrapped Bitcoin through Coinbase. It is called the CBBTC product. That is the access of it's been given to a slew of base DeFi plays, but it's also been bought up by Trump in a very, very big way over the last few days. And access has been given to a few select Solana decentralized DEX kind of DeFi plays as well. There's a list within here that I'm watching primarily with the access in the altcoin sector of this wrapped Bitcoin, because I am of the opinion that the larger players in Wall Street, and I don't want to be too bullish, but I mean, we literally have the Treasury doing test transactions on blockchain networks. We have Trump being a pro crypto president. We might see government involvement in staking. And like, when we think about that, what we see is a basket of products that have access to Coinbase's wrapped Bitcoin. I highlight especially because Coinbase custodies BlackRock and the rest of these ETFs Bitcoin. This is where some of the largest Bitcoin baskets sit currently through these ETFs. And I think it's going to be a more trusted route for massive, massive money to move into and stake their Bitcoin. And if we think DeFi summer last cycle was crazy, just imagine the implications of what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about, billions, trillions of dollars, making its way into the staked side and being locked into these liquidity pools. Now we're talking about something that I can't even give a top prediction to, but what I do know is that the products that have this access with there's two different sectors that I'm looking at. It's the base ecosystem has Aerodrome, Moonwell is right under Aerodrome, Morpho Labs. Those are three kind of mainstay ones of mine out of the base ecosystem that have this access. And Velodrome, sister, kind of a little sister to Aerodrome, went berserk this morning. It's up by like 130, 140% in just the morning. These things are absolutely going berserk. Morpho Labs is going into price discovery as we speak. But in the Solana ecosystem, there is also a basket of these DeFi platforms that have access to wrapped Coinbase Bitcoin. Okay, a Solana
How does that work?
DeFi. So it's a wrapped Bitcoin. CBBTC is used by these DeFi platforms as a backing to earn yield off of. Okay, and so what the projects are in the Solana ecosystem that have this access that I've noted so far: Jupiter, Radium, Orca, and Drift Protocol. Okay, and there are a few more out there, but these are kind of like the more stable mainstay ones that I see out of each upcoming ecosystem. I've been seeing Solana's ecosystem growing like crazy. I've been seeing Base's ecosystem growing like crazy. And I really feel like this is where funny money is going to be printed. We talk about a standard, like 3 or 4x on Bitcoin. But I literally think that some of these projects on these ecosystem sets we're looking at them right now and we think they're high. They're probably another 50x in them. If we see this continue to roll out and be accepted by Wall Street, it's just such an incredible time to really think about what's going on under the hood, because Bitcoin's a great, store of value. It's proof of work. It's very provable in its computational expenditure, right? It costs a lot of energy to get the Bitcoin mined, and it's a very secure network. But the other things that are built around cryptocurrency are pieces that I see as, when we think about redoing society, there is tons of different pieces of the infrastructure included in redoing a society. You have to do the water lines, you have to do the roads, you have to do the electricity, you have to do the food and logistics. And what I'm seeing right now, and I have kind of a crazy feeling about this, but ever since Chainlink got that partnership with the Swift payment system, I think it was about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years ago, that is when something went off in my mind that, because I was always about XRP, but when I did see that Swift actually partnered with Chainlink instead, and we think about the design of how to redo infrastructure society, you have Bitcoin as the ground of which you walk upon. You have Ethereum, which is the smart contracts, the water, the food. But then you also have to have the roads of travel and communication. When we talk about the roads of travel and communication, we're talking about the transition of info from Web 2, the current infrastructure of the internet, over to Web 3, our fancy Ferraris, these layer ones like Avalanche or Solana. We have these Ferraris in our driveway, like Avalanche or Solana, strong layer ones, Cardano, but they don't have a paved roadway of data to move upon. Okay, and so when I think about this, I really, really feel like Chainlink is that roadway that communicates with Web 2 and translates the data to Web 3. And this has been my theory on Chainlink since 2020. And it seems to all be happening before my eyes. I'm going to just throw it out. I will not be surprised to see Chainlink in the top 5. at the peak, around the peak of this bull market. And, that there's a reason
Where does
why
that
I've had
put
so much
Chainlink?
conviction. So when we talk about where does it put it, if this market increases at the equivalent velocity in terms of the top 10 projects that we saw in 2021, then the top market cap should be around $4 to $5 trillion, being Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is going to land in that range. I think that Ethereum is going to land between $1.2 to $1.5 trillion market cap, bringing it to $12,000 to $15,000 a unit. Number 3 is where things get ridiculous. This is where it's $700 to $800 billion market cap, because you have a high concentration of overall market cap that is found within the top 10 projects at any given point in the crypto market, but especially at the top of the bull market. Now, what we're looking at here is a number 3 token by historical context should land around $700 to $800 billion of market cap. Then you go down to number 4, that's more like the $500 to $600 billion market cap. And number 5 would be coming in around right at around 400 to 500 billion. So what that means in terms of price is something absolutely ridiculous. I'll actually give you the numbers here real quick because I run these all the time for different scenarios. Currently, Chainlink is sitting at number 11 or 12. And if it does hold its current position, and you have to keep in mind there will be 750 million Chainlink out by mid-2025. Currently, there's like 650. It's got a token release, an unlock. So you have to account for this in your
When is that?
calculations. It just is constant. There's all this, tokens being released, and it's just part of the tokenomics. So right at about the middle end of 2025, you're going to be about 70 to 75% of the tokens out in total, right? But if it does, let's say, if it holds its position, by my account, I'm looking at like number 11 or 12 to be around 150 to 175 billion dollars in market cap. That would be an upside. It would be sitting at $241 a unit. But if it does break that and make it to $500 billion market cap, that's where things get really stupid, and it gets up to $700 a unit, okay? And we're talking about average expected increase of a project holding its position into the bull market, not including the fees that would come out of the SWIFT partnership. People don't understand the CCIP product that Chainlink has released is a financial messaging tool that requires Chainlink. You have to utilize Chainlink to operate on CCIP. That's a lot of people do not understand. And so there's token pressure on that product if it is actually employed, especially by Swift, not to mention the rest of crypto that uses Chainlink as an oracle, but I'm talking about Swift in and of itself. If they capture 1% of Swift transactions in a testing format on the Swift system through CCIP in the next year, that in and of itself brings Chainlink's price up to $375. If they capture 5% of that transactional value of Swift, this singular partnership that they do have, that everyone wanted, but they got, it brings the price up to $1,800 a unit. Just this action in and of itself. And so we're talking about, it's a larger mindset play when you think about how society was formed. I mean, we have Bitcoin, we have the ground of which we walk upon, but then we also need to keep in mind that smart contracts are here to stay, acknowledge that Ethereum's here to stay, but what comes next? You have food, you have the ground, next you need the transport, the movement, and that is the movement from our current infrastructure, Web 2, over to Web 3. Okay, so I really think that that's important to keep in mind. And yes, I'm getting blasted on my Telegram here. I don't know how to turn it off, but I'm sure people can hear it in the chat. I thought I turned off all my notifications. Sorry, guys. Oh my gosh, please stop. But yeah,
I think that's a bizarre. When you're talking about Trump, I feel like it was a blindside that a lot of people haven't really taken into consideration, the fact that the voracious appetite of entrepreneurs upside exposure. Like, so imagine someone filling Trump's ears with some of the moves that the crypto market makes, right? So let's say he knew nothing about it. He's a real estate guy. He loves the long-term exposure to real estate. He gets it. And then, maybe, what is his Baron? Barons. Some of these things do like 10x's, 100x's, 1000x's. That would just be music to Trump's ears. And now the whole administration is behind crypto. So, man, this thing could get so wild.
Yeah, I have a strong feeling Barron is heavy into altcoins, and he's probably going to outperform his dad's bag this next year, and he's going to light a fire under Trump's butt about the market in general. So really, it's not that we're thinking things too crazy, but we have to keep a reasonable expectation. I know I just said some insane numbers, but those are literally just math. It's literally just the math of the increase of the market, and I think a lot of people are just beat down by how long this bear market has been. It's been like 580 days of pain and sideways action for the most part. No, and I was one of very few people that took an immense amount of profits in March of 2024. Felt like an idiot doing it. I'm really glad I did. But now we're sitting in a situation with a crypto-friendly administration, Bitcoin reserves, all of these things, and tools that are being released through, Coinbase and other organizations, of course, that are really opening the floodgates for a situation like Aave could potentially be the next world's largest bank. In a few years, Aave could literally become the world's largest bank. If anyone sees the growth metrics on Aave, they would see what I'm talking about. It is a parabolic increase in growth for it. The traditional banking infrastructure is underwater immensely right now. If you have to understand what this crypto tool would not be useful if there wasn't a problem to fix. The problem to fix can easily be found on the FDIC website. The current banking system is underwater by $600 billion in unrealized losses on commercial real estate securities exposure. They are, I think it's about 10 times worse than it was in 2008. And Lord love a duck, as you love to say, pianomattyb. In 2019, they actually had twice as bad of a pullback on the banking unrealized losses as they did in 2008. There was already an excuse to print half of the currency in circulation before they released the news about the flu. Think about that. Think about what measures the central bank just went to make sure that they could print half of the currency ever in circulation and try to bail out the banks, right? They already had a situation that was twice as bad as the great housing crisis in 2019. They already knew about it. There was already a reason to print. And all of a sudden, conveniently enough, March rolls around in 2020. Sorry, guys. We're just going to have to print this to the moon, I guess. I don't know. Save your money, though, right? Save your money because you might have to stay home. You might get fired, right? Might be an economic shutdown forever. It's just, it's incredible. This is so crazy.
With all this bullishness, like coming at you from every which way, how did the Microsoft shareholders vote no on the Bitcoin reserve?
They didn't just vote no. I think like less than 1% of them voted yes.
Yeah. Now, is this a boomer thing, or is this an orchestrated strategy on their own? Like, well, I just don't understand.
Yeah.
It.
I mean, they may just worry about the pullbacks. They see the volatility in the market, yada, yada. I don't know, Matty B. I can't answer that question for you. There is, like, MicroStrategy, a lot of people think it's just this huge bubble that's going to burst at a point, but they don't understand how decentralized Bitcoin has become, how many nation states are sitting on their own quiet reserves of Bitcoin. Like, this is no longer just some dorks in their basement that are arbitraging the 4-year cycle back and forth and playing a game of hot potato. This is literal nation states looking to take control of this asset. So when we talk about the rollouts and getting out of it and repeating the 4-year cycle, that's where my worry about not having a solid pullback comes, is from now these massive organizations and these ETFs holding for a much longer time frame than we have been used to in Bitcoin. So
this is my conspiracy. My conspiracy on Microsoft is that what they've released to the media, in the sense that, just like Scotty Moe said, the 1% is a little fishy to them. So they release their press releases. No, we voted against it. 99% against it. Now their own game theory is that someone like Apple or Nvidia or some big company with a ton of melting ice cubes will see their error and be able to, what they think is front run Microsoft. And we'll get in there, and then everyone will ape in. Meanwhile, Microsoft's filling its bags behind the scene with the press release that's basically a lie, and now everyone that apes in is just going to pump their bags. But that's me giving them too much credit, probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it seems like, I mean, there's all the reason in the world to at least have some exposure to it. Even, like the powers that be of BlackRock are saying 2% is a reasonable exposure level for really any level of corporation at this point. And, to see them shoot that down so easily and quickly, I didn't believe that they were going to push it through, but I didn't believe that it would be a 1% yes vote. You would think at least like 20 or 30% of them are like, wow, look at the upside on this. But, I mean, do we need them? No, that's the good news. And they'll be there eventually. JP Morgan saying Bitcoin is bad while stacking Bitcoin behind the scenes. Scotty Moe's bringing up, yes. And JP Morgan's even building their own blockchains. They're building Onyx blockchain. And really, they are trying to build out their own insular system that can mirror what the private sector has put together in cryptocurrency. But guess what? Private sector always beats out private sector always beats out government sector in terms of innovation. So what they're doing is they're trying to catch up with the development that's already happened on the regular open market side, and they're going to fail. And really, this is just a immovable object of the government and the current banking infrastructure crashing into the unstoppable force of Bitcoin and the world's largest decentralized network of value that's literally released into an internet age, right? We've changed our economy into an internet economy over the past 10 years. And also within that 10 years, we've transformed the value of money transfer into an online version of it. And we've never had this before in human history. All bets are off on like how high or much of this can really be grabbed, because we haven't even started talking about derivatives markets. We haven't even brought that up. That's a $quadrillion market sector that's on digital ledgers, right? Past Web 2 digital ledgers infrastructure. So when we talk about real world assets, representing assets online in a Web 3 format, things can get really, really ridiculous. I try to keep a level head. And really, when it comes to taking profits, it's like I don't want to psycho hand Chainlink all the way to $2,000 a unit. I have a specific number in my mind of what would tangibly change my life. What kind of house do I want? What's the next house that I want? What's the next, what's the things that I want? And I don't have many things that I look for out of life. I've already got basically everything I got. I got a great family and everything like that. I got all the guns I could ever want. So, really it's just getting out of a minivan and buying another house, and I'm kind of, I don't know, the minivan thing, it's a struggle for me. It's got great seats. I've got seat heaters. People think I'm a soccer mom. They underestimate me. I kind of like that aspect of driving the minivan around.
For kids, though, it's a necessity.
I know. They got to grow up. They got to get their legs a little bit bigger to reach the Sequoia. That's the next step up, is a Sequoia, and it's it it takes time.
Well, where do you have this market peaking out then? If with it seems like every time we speak every week, we get a little more bullish, and I feel like all the upside targets have to kind of be changed.
Yeah, I mean, as it sits right now, things have pretty much remained the same for me. Like, I see that we are repeating the velocity of the last bull market. And, the repeating of the last bull market was something I didn't see happening until we had the Bitcoin ETFs approved. Now we have a Bitcoin strategic reserve being proposed in the United States, Texas, Japan. As of this morning, we have nation states FOMOing in to Bitcoin. So when I see this market peaking out as I see that Bitcoin is going to accomplish between $200,000 to $240,000 a unit, and we are overall on the path to achieve a $15 trillion total market cap as things are moving right now. So things in the altcoin sector are going to go berserk. Bitcoin obviously going to be ridiculous, but once we see $150,000 Bitcoin, that's when a disgusting DeFi summer 2.0 kicks into place. That's why you have to be stacking your bags right now. I'm buying as much crypto as I possibly can before February of next year. What I got's what I got. And I am moving forward into the next year with an ultimate plan to change the generational wealth and the history of my family forever. And I hope you got your bags packed for this one.
Make sure you like and subscribe and share this video.